Alright, today we're going to look at comparing and ordering integers and just how to use a number line to do that. So when we have a horizontal number line, so going this way, left to right, we know the numbers to the left are going to be less than the numbers to the right. The numbers to the right are greater than numbers to the left. So we can use a number line to justify our comparisons. So if we're comparing 2 and negative 6, and we put it on a number line here, I'm just going to go ahead and set this up. So again, 0 doesn't have to always go in the middle. I know we kind of talked about that yesterday, but it doesn't always have to go in the middle. In this case, I can see that I'm going to have more negative numbers on my number line, so 0 can just go somewhere up here. I just have to make sure I can at least go to 2. And, I don't have to go all the way up to positive 6, but I do need to go down to negative 6. So I just numbered those, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, negative 2, and so on. So when I compare 2 and negative 6, I'm going to go ahead and graph the 2, and then I'm going to graph the negative 6. And then I can justify my work by saying that 2 is to the right of 6, so we know that 2 is greater, negative 6, than negative 6. 2 is to the right of negative 6, so 2 is greater than negative 6. We can do this on a vertical number line as well, but we know that the numbers below are less than the numbers above, and the numbers above are greater than numbers below. So it just kind of rotates over, but the same idea, because we have the 0 and then above and below. So if we're going to compare negative 5 and negative 3, again, I'm going to put my 0 up here. So there's my 0, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and so on. So you'll notice I didn't include anything above 0, but I have 2 negative numbers, so I know I'm not going to graph anything above the 0. I have negative 5 and negative 3. I also didn't label every single number. This is kind of like when we were doing some coordinate graphing. I know that negative 1 is halfway between 0 and negative 2. I just didn't write it there just so it didn't look as messy. So now I'm going to go ahead and graph these numbers. Negative 5, I know that's going to be between negative 4 and negative 6. And then my negative 3 is going to be between negative 2 and negative 4 here. Okay, so now I can say, well, negative 5 here, it's below negative 3. So I can say that negative 5 is less than negative 3. And I know I brought this up once, but when we're doing comparisons, remember you can always use this little trick. Left hand, less than, they both start with L. If you hold your left hand up and you make that symbol, that's your less than symbol. All right, let's go ahead and flip this over. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and compare these 3 numbers here. If you want to graph them on the number line, you could, but otherwise just go ahead and pause your video and put in the less than or greater than symbol as necessary. Okay, so number 1, 0 is greater than negative 4. Negative 5 is less than positive 5. And negative 8 is less than negative 7. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we have 4 numbers here, negative 4, or 5 numbers, negative 4, positive 3, 0, negative 1, and negative 2. We're going to order those from least to greatest. So first thing I want you to do is just put those 5 numbers on a number line. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up my number line here. And then I want you to just graph those 5 numbers just to get some practice with that. So here's my negative 4, positive 3, 0, negative 1, and negative 2. Then you want to make sure you're paying attention to if it says least to greatest or greatest to least. So when you do the homework, you want to make sure you're going in the correct order, whatever it's asking. So this one says least to greatest. So I'm just going to list them as I have them marked here. So I have negative 4, negative 2, negative 1, 0, and then 3. All right. Now, the last problem we have here, we have this diagram, and it shows the coldest recorded temperatures for several cities here in Virginia. So the first thing I want us to do is just place those on the number line here. So we have a vertical number line that I've kind of got set up for us. And then you can see that a lot of these are negative numbers. So when we set this up, I'm actually going to put my 0 way up at the top because we're not going to have anything above there. So 0, here's my -2, -4, and then just keep numbering that appropriately. Okay, now I want to go ahead and place these on the number line. Again, just for practicing graphing these here. So we have Wallops Island at 0. So this is my Wallops Island. So I'm going to label that up here. 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's Richmond at -12 degrees, so that's going to go down here. Lynchburg, that's at -10. Roanoke at -11. And then Norfolk at -3. So now we can just see in order from warmest to coldest. Now none of those are very warm. They're all pretty cold, but we can still put them in order. So letter A, which city has the coldest recorded temperature? So you would just answer that by in a complete sentence. And we can see way down here is Richmond. So we would say Richmond has the coldest recorded temperature. And you could tell me, when you explain your answer, you could tell me because -12 is the lowest on the number line. It's way down here. All right, letter B, has a negative Fahrenheit temperature ever been recorded on Wallops Island? And explain that. So here's Wallops Island at 0. Remember, this is the coldest recorded temperature. So I want you to pause your video and give an explanation to that. And then you can unpause it and kind of check your work here. But think about, has there ever been a negative temperature there? Answer that and explain in a complete sentence. Okay, so I answered this question by saying a negative temperature has never been recorded on Wallops Island because 0 degrees Fahrenheit is greater than every negative number. Now, you don't have to write exactly what I have. You could add to yours if you wanted to. Just make sure it's along the same lines, but it should still be in your own words. Once you finish this, you are welcome to go start your homework.